Wringer Chapter 38. It was as if he could smell into the future. The gray, sour odor of gun smoke came to him a full week before Family Fest was due to begin. There were shots, too, the popping of cap pistols from 4- and 5-year-olds practicing to one day be ringers and shooters. All the things in their gun sights became pigeons, grasshoppers, mailboxes, yellow squash, even each other. The sun dazzled in a cloudless sky. The sidewalks, if you took your shoes off, burned. After dinner, people watered flowers. At night he heard trucks rumbling. Little kids on pastel bikes pedaled furiously, churning the heat to butter, gasping stories of wooden crates piled higher than skyscrapers, of crates broken into, pigeons flushed and killed, security guards posted. Men on porches cleaned their shotguns, women baked pies. In the mornings he thought he felt a nip on his ear. He opened his eyes and looked about, but he was alone. At first, Palmer believed he had released Nipper for Nipper's sake. Then he began to see that it had been for his own sake as well. He knew this from the relief he felt from sleeping with the window open, of no longer fearing the yellow cat. The tension that had choked him for months was gone. The price of peace had been high, expelling himself from the gang, proclaiming himself a traitor, banishing his beloved pet. But for such a price, a peace should be excellent. Yet when Palmer reached for it, tried to taste it, it was not there. Instead, he found only his blizzard-blown friend, images and memories and dreams. One night he dreamed about a pigeon crossing a road in a faraway place. A car zoomed by, knocking the pigeon down. Other cars zoomed, and soon the pigeon was meat and feathers, flat. Then an old woman with a watering can began to sprinkle the road, and the meat plumped up and came together again with the feathers, and the old woman took the reconstituted pigeon in her hands. Only now it wasn't an old woman. It was a kid, a ringer, throttling the pigeon by the neck, and the pigeon had a beak that was soft like lips, and the pigeon was speaking. Throughout the days and nights of Family Fest, he stayed close to his parents. He did the funhouse with his father, and the tilt-a-whirl with his mother. Several times in the noise and jostle he thought he heard Beans's voice. At the bake sale he had never seen so many pies at once. More pies on the endless table than soldiers buried in his backyard. His mother let him pick out his favorite. He chose raspberry crumb. During the week his father said many things, mostly with his hands. He rubbed Palmer's hair and squeezed his shoulder and tugged on his shirt and tickled his ribs and pulled him backward with a finger hooked in the back pocket of his jeans and lightly brushed the side of his neck with his fingertips as he stopped and chatted with friends. Each of these things had a different meaning to Palmer, and yet the same. A language unlearned, of words unheard, that came to roost at some warm and waiting perch far below his ears. He could not remember the last time his father called him Big Guy. In other years his father had always stopped at the shooting gallery, where flat yellow ducks cruised smugly until shot in the eye, popping. This year they walked by, not even looking. Palmer tried not to hear, but even as he bobbed on a merry-go-rounding horse, as he deeped breathedly the sweet, crispy tangle of a funnel cake, there it was, popping. On Friday he rode his bike to the old train station. He heard them before he saw them, a noise like turkeys. He pulled up in front of the crates. The top crates towered high above him, and the whole slatted, gobbling tenement occupied more space than the boarded-up station. In the shade of the old ticket window a man sat whittling a stick. "Better not stand there too long," the man called, laughing. "Smell'll knock you over." Palmer stayed a long while, his eyes closed, listening, trying to feel. On Friday night the shooting gallery was mobbed, and at home the golden bird was gone from the mantel.